It feels like our entire culture, especially when we're young, is built around one single idea: control. It's all about making the perfect plan, grinding it out, and taking control of your future. But what if that whole idea is just one big illusion? Well, let's get it. Take a second and really think about this. Are you actually in the driver's seat of your own life? We all want to be the main character, right? But what if it turns out we're not the ones writing the script? Well, that's kind of a countercultural thought, because the pressure to be the scriptwriter is everywhere. Get perfect grades, build the perfect resume, even get famous. The message from the world we live in is loud and clear. Hustle harder, plan smarter, and you can absolutely guarantee your own success. And in this series, we've seen that thousands of years ago, Solomon, the wisest man to ever live, took a long hard look at these sorts of countercultural ideas. Another name to know him by is Koheleth. And today he has a super honest take that kind of shatters our modern hustle culture. And he continues to use that Hebrew word hevel, which, remember, literally means vapor, like a puff of smoke or your breath on a cold day. It's gone in an instant. It's meaningless. He says that's what all our desperate attempts to control life are like. So let's bust some of the myths about control that society tells us. We love to treat life like it's some kind of giant vending machine, right? You put the coins in, and that's your hard work, your good choices, and boom, out comes the exact reward you picked. Simple. A plus B always equals C. But Koheleth just shakes his head and says, yeah, that's a nice thought, but that's not how life actually works. And here's the first massive reason why. Myth number one would be, I'm in control of my life. But here's the thing. You can't control the creator. And this is maybe the toughest pill to swallow for all of us, especially if you like to have a plan. But it's simple. God is God and we're not. And theologians actually have a word for this. It's called concurrence. But there's a much easier way to think about it. Imagine life is a video game, right? God is the game developer. He wrote every single line of code. He designed the entire world and he set the final objective. Now we are the players. We make real choices inside that game for sure, but we can't rewrite the code. We can't change the game's ultimate ending. God is the primary cause. We're the secondary. So when we stand up and yell, I'm the master of my fate, I'm the captain of my soul, well, to God, that probably just sounds like a tiny little squeaky toy in the middle of a massive thunderstorm. Okay, that was myth number one. Let's combat myth number two, which sounds something like, I'm in control of my own consequences. Well, I hate to break it to you, but you can't control the consequences. You see, we all live like life is just one big meritocracy, that the fastest, smartest, hardest working people are always the ones who win. But is that really true? No. And Koheleth saw this crystal clear thousands of years ago. He actually wrote in Ecclesiastes 9:11, the fastest runner doesn't always win the race. It's all decided by chance, by being in the right place at the right time. This isn't some new cynical hot take. This is ancient wisdom. And what's crazy is that today's modern data completely backs him up. A few years ago, a computer simulation found that the most successful people were almost never the most talented. More often than not, they were people with about average talent who just got super lucky. Being in the right place at the right time often crushes being the absolute best. Just think about Facebook. You think it was the first social network? No way. In fact, this website called 6degrees.com did pretty much the exact same thing, but they launched way back in 1997, and it totally failed. Not because it was a bad idea, but because the timing was terrible. People had something called dial-up internet. Maybe you wanted a profile pic. Well, you had to use a film camera and then scan it in. And so by the time Facebook launched in 2004, the world was ready. We had high-speed internet, digital cameras. You see, the environment was the key, not just the idea. And that kind of brings us to the third and final myth. And it's us saying, I am in control of my time. Well, again, I hate to break it to you, but you can't control the clock. And this means two things. First, you can't predict the future. And second, you can't stop your own time from running out. And humans are historically just terrible at predicting the future, even the experts. In 1962, a record label literally told the Beatles that, quote unquote, guitar groups are on the way out. In 2000, the CEO of Blockbuster passed up buying Netflix, calling it a very small niche business. And this one's funny, but back in the late 1800s, urban experts were panicking because they were predicting that major cities would soon be buried under 9 feet of horse poop. You see, they just couldn't imagine a world that wasn't powered by horses. So we obviously can't predict the future, but there's a much heavier side to not controlling the clock. And it's the fact that the mortality rate for human beings has been and always will be 100%. It's kind of weird. Today, we have all these tech billionaires that are trying to solve death. They're pouring fortunes into research like it's just another bug in the software of our bodies. But Koheleth called it what it is in Ecclesiastes 8:8, that dark battle, a fight from which there's absolutely no escape. All right, so if we can't control the creator or the consequences or the clock, what's the point? Is it all just hopeless? Is it all hevel? Do we just give up? Well, no. After tearing down all of our illusions, Koheleth finally gives us his final conclusion. He points us to the one thing that we actually can control. Here's how he wraps it all. He says, here's the final conclusion. It's a simple 2-step duty for every person. Step 1, fear God. And that doesn't just mean being scared of him. It's about having this deep sense of awe and respect for the one who's actually in control. So that's step 1. And step 2, obey his command. So here's the key takeaway. Your main job in life isn't to be in control. It's to be in submission to the one who is. It's about trusting his plan, his timing, his character, even when, well, especially when life feels completely random. But see, that's where Solomon's book ends. He's writing from his perspective here on earth, under the sun, just seeing the world as it is. And his final words are actually a pretty heavy warning. God will judge us for everything we do, whether it is good or bad. That kind of leaves us hanging, doesn't it? But what if that's not the end of the story? What if there's a bigger perspective than just under the sun? And that is exactly where Jesus changes everything. This is how he actually solves the brutal problems of Ecclesiastes. First, Jesus steps into our chaotic, uncontrollable, heathen world. And second, he takes that final, terrifying judgment that Koheleth warned us about. He puts it on himself at the cross. And third, he does the one thing nobody can do. He conquers death itself. So that leaves us with this one last question. You see, you can't control your life, you can't control God, and you can't control the results. So the question isn't if you'll let go of control of your life, because eventually you have to. The real question is, who or what are you going to trust it with?